Hi, my name is Erin Cox and I'm a physiotherapist. Today we're going to look at the anatomy and the surface anatomy of the hand. Come along. This is a right hand and the dorsal surface of the right hand. First we'll look at the styloid, so the radial styloid and the ulnar styloid. Don't forget the TFCC is between the ulna and the triquetrium and lunate, and it extends right to the ulnar surface of the radius. On the dorsal surface of the radius, we have the Lister's tubercle or the dorsal tubercle. If we go from proximal to distal, from the tubercle to distal, we will land on the scaphoid. If we were to do a radial deviation, what will happen is only the scaphoid will be underneath the radius. In neutral, we have a little bit of the lunate under the radius, but then if we do a ulnar deviation, we'll be able to go from the Lister's tubercle distally onto the lunate. You will also see if you do a full flexion, we will have more of the lunate become more evident, so we'll be able to palpate that. Also, you will see that the proximal row of the carpal bones is globally in a convexity. So we have the scaphoid, the lunate, and the triquetrium. In the distal row, we have the trapezium, the trapezoid, the capitate, and the hamate. And you can see that the trapezium is at the base of the first metacarpal, the trapezoid is at the base of the second, the capitate is at the base of the third, but the hamate is at the base of the fourth and the fifth metacarpals. If we just look at the back of a hand here, I'd like you to note that the radial side extends further than the ulnar side, which means that when I go to do a radial deviation versus an ulnar deviation, I should have more ulnar deviation, because if we go radially, it blocks faster by the radial styloid, which is more distal. Here is the dorsal tubercle. Like I said, we go more dorsal, we will be on the scaphoid. I can pinch this, and then I will also be on the tubercle of the scaphoid on the palmar side. If we go more into flexion, you can maybe see that this becomes more prominent, and that will be my lunate. And then I can go from the third metacarpal and slide down, and that will be more the capitate. If we go distally here, we are going to have, or we'll go from the fourth to the fifth proximally, and we can land on the hamate. If we look on the palmar side, and as we go again into more of a radial deviation, you will notice that the tubercles of the scaphoid and the trapezium will become more prominent. And we will be able to feel that as we go into radial deviation, the trapezium. We'll palpate that in a minute. Just to also show you that at the end of the fourth and fifth, if we go proximal to the metacarpals, we'll have the hook of the hamate. And between the pisiform and the hook of the hamate, we have the little Guyon's tunnel for the small nerve to go. I would also like you to note that the capitate is round, or Big Daddy, it's convex everywhere. So if we go on the palmar side, as we said, if we go into radial deviation and I go along the first metacarpal, I'm going to feel the trapezium, and then here, the next prominence here is going to be the tubercle of the scaphoid. And if we went along the fourth here, we should be able to find the hook of the hamate. Thank you.